I was thinking about this earlier, and I didn't tell Molly or Tomoko what I wanted to talk about here, but I wanted to make a quick vid to talk about how we got to know Victor. Okay. Now Victor, you know, the king of YouTube, Japan. He calls himself the king of morons, but I just think about him as Sir Victor, right? And he is indeed the king. And I thought it would be an interesting bit of YouTube to share about how we got to know. This of course includes prior to actually meeting him. I haven't met Victor yet. Tonight will be the first night. So I thought I'd go ahead and lead off myself.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Well, up until I got to know you, Molly, and you joined the YouTube Japan community, I was pretty much kind of a recluse on YouTube. I had my Softy Papa channel. I didn't have any of I had the old Tokaido channel and a couple of other things. But I interacted in comments with people, but I almost never interacted with anybody in the rest of the community except Busan Kevin, because I got to know him before when he was in Korea, and the JapanChannel.com. He and I would correspond. We'd write, we'd leave comments and stuff. But I watched very few videos. I really didn't know anything about the community at all, and I didn't know who Victor is. I'm sorry, Victor, I didn't know. I mean, you were on the throne all that time, but I didn't know. And it wasn't until one night I turned on a video. I saw something caption that caught me. I started watching videos more, and the thing came on, and immediately the music came on. Give me a flake, man. I said it backwards. Give me a break, man. Give me a flake. And you were standing there, Victor, doing your thing, do. And I remember you were singing along with it, and you said, why can't he keep his vids under 3 minutes? Oh, it's impossible. And you did it just in time with the music. And as I watched the video, and I felt the same feeling that so many of your viewers must feel, that wow, this guy's really cool. And I watched that intro like 3 times in a row. I thought that was so cool the way you did that, and I watched that video and several of your videos after that, and I really became a fan of what you were doing. And you were probably one of the first persons, Victor, that I encountered on YouTube who I realized you could basically turn the camera on in almost any setting and begin talking, and you would produce content that was watchable on any subject, even if it was just a stream of consciousness coming out. And then I learned, of course, that you were, shortly thereafter, I learned that you were basically, the guy that ran the show. You were the Don, so to speak, of the J-Vlog community. And I really do owe this to Mully, because it was after Mully joined. He's more gregarious than I. After he got on YouTube and he started socializing and networking and meeting people and actually meeting people and talking to people, and I began to come out of my shell. So but I think I actually first encountered Victor on video before I met you. Right. But I didn't get to know him better until after. And I still don't know him that well. Hopefully that'll all change tonight. How about you?
Well, actually, I learned about Victor through you. Because I was still fresh to YouTube. You got me into this.
Greenhorn, we call him.
That's right. You got me into this, and you told me with my toothpick video that Victor does guest sensei lessons. He lets people send in videos to teach Japanese on his channel, and it's good exposure.
Right.
So I contacted him. I sent him a mail, and I thought it would be a good idea, a good way for me to kind of get my foot in the door in the YouTube community, in the J-vlogging community, if I did a Japanese lesson for his channel.
Right.
So I sent him a mail, and I asked him if he would mind if I did a Japanese lesson. And I apologized to him if I was stepping on any toes, because I didn't know the procedure of, maybe he picks people, or if people just send him stuff.
Right.
So I was, very polite with him, and, let him know that, I'm new and blah, 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 blah. And he wrote me back.
To be gentle with you.
Right. And he wrote me back, and he said, yeah, go ahead and do something, and he knew about my toothpick video, and he told me to put the toothpick.
That was back in the day when you were the toothpick guy.
I was a toothpick guy, right? And he actually called me that in a video one time, I think, the toothpick guy.
I remember you going by that, yeah.
Yeah, and he wrote me back and he said, do it with the toothpicks in the background. Is the background for my video.
Right.
And then after that, I decided not to do it. And I didn't call him, I didn't write him and tell him I wasn't going to do it, but I just decided I wasn't going to do it because I was still the new kid on the block as far as the J-Vlog community goes, and it wasn't my place to push myself into any spaces like that.
Right.
There, you know, in my opinion, there are unwritten rules to things like this. You know, even
There's
though it's
protocol and etiquette.
Exactly.
In all circumstances, all communities. And there's just good manners, right?
Right.
Courtesy.
And like what you said before, like you said, and I'm not knocking what you said. I'm just going to change the wording of a little bit.
Sure.
You said when I got on and started doing my networking and all this, I never really did any networking.
No, you didn't. You were a friendly guy.
Yeah, right. I see people that interest me, and I want to get to know them.
Right.
Let's see. How do I?
Yeah. No. Well, he's figuring out the road. I'll add on to that. That's right. Jim has never been the type of guy. He never pushes his agenda necessarily. This type of stuff. He basically, he's gregarious. He's friendly. He likes to communicate with people. Yeah. He sends emails. He'll get you on Skype. That's the kind of guy he is. And it doesn't matter if you're the king of YouTube or just some subscriber that sent him a really nice message. Right.
That is exactly right. You know, old and youth.
And I don't mean it by saying just some subscriber. I don't mean it to come that way. But what I mean is status doesn't matter.
Right.
Because subscribers are. I mean, we're all people.
We're all the same. We are all exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the only difference I find between myself.
Hold on, we'll show the Nagoya. Okay. Yeah.
The only difference I see between myself and, let's say, somebody that's just a viewer.
Okay.
And I don't mean just a viewer, but somebody that just watches and doesn't make content.
Words are tricky.
Yes, they are. And so, you know, don't take them the wrong way.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
The only difference I see is that I'm not.
Look at these lights. Hold on, sorry, Jim.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful highway too.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. The difference that I see is that I'm not afraid or shy to stand in front of a camera and talk.
No.
And that's all the difference is.
Yeah.
Some people have those reservations, and you know, but that doesn't make me any better or any worse than anybody else.
I think
it doesn't make them any worse.
Yes.
But what you were saying, I'll talk to anybody. You know, Old and Youth is a perfect example of this.
Right.
And I pointed that out to him because, oh man, what was it? Jesus, we may have to go into part 2 on this.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on it.
We got
2 minutes. Yeah. And I want to get Tomoko's opinion too. But we might have to go to part 2. That's okay.
Old and Youth had said something to me one time about, oh man, how the hell did it go?
Something about balls and bollocks and host boys and stuff like that. And did it come back to you yet? Or?
Well, I know what I said to him, but I don't remember what led up to it.
Okay.
But I had told him. I had told him that if you were just a viewer to me, we wouldn't have this friendship. And this was before anybody knew who he was. Nobody knew who Old and Youth was. He was totally new on the scene. And he had said something to me about, he had said something about just viewers.
Right.
And I said, well, if you have that thought in your mind, you and I would never have been friends because you were just a viewer to me. You were just a viewer on my channel.
Oh, I see. I see. Right. Exactly.
But if I had treated you like that, like just a viewer, you and I wouldn't be friends now.
Yeah.
I said, so, try not to, and I don't remember if it was, well,
let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Kill this one. And I just want to, just before I hit the button, I wanted to say that I feel your pain because I have, it really hurts me. I want to respond to everybody's comments more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because the viewers, the people, they're all people, and I know anybody that would take the time to leave a message, especially if it was directed at me, deserves an answer, and that's one of my greatest challenges. So I'm going to hit this, and we'll get back and hear more about what Mully and Victor. Okay, here we go. Hit the button. Well, you can't. You're driving.